We're joined by Nyke Slawik, one of the two openly transgender members of the German Parliament from the Green Party here in the Bundestag. Ms. Slawik, this commemoration today, what did it mean for you? What was significant for you about this today?
It's been a very moving ceremony, and I'm very thankful to the Parliament that it could finally happen, because the queer community has fought for decades that the persecution of queer people in the Third Reich would finally be remembered, and that we would finally talk about the crimes that were committed by the Nazis. Thousands of homosexual people killed or who came to the concentration camps, and the horrors continued after the Nazi time as well in Germany, because after 1945 homosexuality was still a crime. It was still very difficult to talk about everything that happened, and so almost 100 years after the Nazi terror began in Germany, finally our democracy took the important step to talk about these crimes in the German Bundestag, and so it's been a very significant and a very historic day.
But what does it mean today for queer people in Germany or in Europe today? These crimes obviously are very far away. They're 78 years, maybe you just said almost 100 years ago.
They're very far away, but they continued for many decades into the lives of the people who came after the Nazi time as well, because the Nazis, they burned all the signs on queer people that came into existence in the early 20th century. They closed down all the cafes, all the meeting places. People weren't able to talk about queer lives for long into the 60s and 70s. People still came into prison. Lesbian women lost their children, the care of their children. And so it still continues, even maybe to this day, because the fight for equality still goes on, because we have made a few progresses in the last couple of years, but there's still quite a few laws remaining in Germany that treat queer people unequally, like the transsexuality law or family laws. And it's only been since queer marriage, same-sex marriage was only introduced in Germany in 2017. And so we're only starting to talk about the dark chapters of history and the persecution of queer people. And we're still in the beginning of our path to make good on that history.
But something must have changed. There was this celebration today, this commemoration, I should say, today in the Bundestag, and you're a member of Parliament now.
There is change. We have more queer people in the German Bundestag now, with Tessa Ganserer and me, the first open transgender people ever in German history in the German Bundestag. And two colleagues of mine outed themselves as a gay couple a few days ago, and we have more queer members in Parliament now than ever before. And we've been fighting for this commemoration that we had today for many, many decades, and it was blocked by the presidents of the Parliament for many years. And now I think finally we have an understanding in the Parliament that it's important to commemorate also this dark chapter of history, and to finally make good and to change our laws, and to finally make progress in history. But there's still a lot to do, I think.
Nyke Slawik, thank you very much for talking to Deutsche Welle.